guys, it's Travis Fowler, Hark Rider Four Corner Post here, and I'm going to bring you a little bit of a condensed version of this week's BWS Best Wrestling Show of the Week, because honestly, I've kind of just been looking over things, and maybe you guys just want to get straight to the point when it comes to these videos. So I'm going to keep things at a minimalistic review, and then just jump right into what I thought was the best show. Now, over this week here in wrestling, I can't really say there was a lot that was just like jumping off the page excellent from any show, but I do think one was superior over the other, and there's a reason behind that. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and start off with Raw. Raw actually was not bad for a show overall. The only thing that I have really a question mark over is, why did we get this stupid marriage commitment ceremony thing, especially on the Hulu version, which is the one that I watch, as y'all well know, because I can't hardly make it through a 3-hour Raw. I can barely make it through the first 15 minutes usually, because that's usually the best part of it. But I digress and move on. Somehow we had this commitment ceremony that was only hyped up for a week, and it was shown on the Hulu version, and the whole time I'm thinking to myself, I don't really know nor care exactly what's going on. But I digress and we move on. We saw the lie detector test thing take place with Ezekiel, not Elias, and Kevin Owens, which actually was kind of funny and was a throwback to the Mr. America thing back in 2003. We saw Cody Rhodes still getting an unbelievable reaction and had a good match with Kevin Owens as the main event. And the RK Bro Street Profits match was really good. If only now makes me wonder, will they add the Street Profits to this match at WrestleMania Backlash for the undisputed tag titles? We'll see where that goes, but a lot of interesting questions are going into this week's episode. Then we've got AEW Dynamite, which quite frankly, I really only have 3 notes about AEW this week. 3 things that really interested me overall. Obviously, the announcement of Forbidden Door, the AEW and New Japan joint venture show taking place in Chicago. That actually might be really fun. All I'm really hoping for from that at this very moment is CM Punk versus Kenta. Gotta see it. Who is the master of the GTS? I think this is the perfect time to find out. But speaking of CM Punk, they, I think, are now putting him into title picture contention, because we saw Hangman Adam Page come out and he gave the stare down with Punk, which Punk has also said that he is gunning for the AEW title. They've really been giving him these matches over the last few weeks where it's just him versus a notable challenger, but he wins each time. So I think they were trying to build towards this stare down that will probably lead to Double or Nothing and Adam Page versus CM Punk for the AEW title. That then leads me to the main event, which was a coffin match, Darby Allin versus Andrade El Idolo, which for what it was, wasn't really that bad. It was pretty cool. The Sting spot where he dressed up as himself in a fan kind of perspective was really cool. He's done that a few times, and this time it was done seamlessly as it's been the other times. I really enjoyed that part of the match, and overall the match was what it was. It was supposed to be a little out of control and hectic, and it was, so I think it delivered on that front. On SmackDown, we had more continuation of Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey and that ridiculous contract signing to start off the show. And by the way, poor Drew Gulak. He goes from being a really good wrestler to now being nothing but a punching bag for Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. Like, what did he do to Rousey? I mean, I can understand Flair. She's kind of supposed to be the heat magnet and the heel in this. But why did Rousey attack poor Gulak? I mean, I don't know. My heart just goes out to Drew Gulak. Then also on SmackDown, we saw, of course, the Usos continuing to push towards the tag titles themselves at WrestleMania Backlash and interfering in the Lumberjack match main event to send a message to RK Bro after Riddle had already beaten the other Uso after he beat the other Uso prior as well. Sometimes it's hard for me to keep the two of them in line. But he beat both Jimmy and Jay in consecutive singles matches, so that furthers that storyline there. And then the main event was Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre in the aforementioned Lumberjack match. Nothing of real notable moments here other than, again, Sami Zayn running away, and this now leads to yet a 3rd or 4th match for Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn in a row. Really don't understand why they're not just putting this match on the Backlash card, but it's going to be a cage match next week between McIntyre and Zayn, and I think if you haven't already read the spoilers, then you probably already know where it's going to go. I already feel it's going to go a certain way, and I haven't read them, but it's pretty obvious. Now, honestly, I'm getting to what I believe was the best wrestling show of this week, and still, yes, I've been a mark for them over these last few weeks, but I can't help it. They're that good, in my opinion. Impact Wrestling delivers yet again, and this is going into their Rebellion pay-per-view from this past weekend. It was the go-home show, and it was done so well. Guys, I'm telling you, if you haven't started watching Impact, or let's say you did watch Impact at one time but went away during their dark times, go back and enjoy this renaissance they're having, because they are doing great storytelling, great storylines. I'm so intrigued in the Honor No More versus Bullet Club storyline. They had me pumped for it a week ago. The 8-man tag was a lot of fun this week. The main event also saw some good things leading in to the Rebellion pay-per-view. Moose and Josh Alexander, you didn't really have much from either of them. It was just kind of hyping up the show. But guys, I'm telling you, Impact Wrestling is firing on all cylinders, and they did so with another great show this week. I love that the major players are now involved, and I still feel like they're going to be a heel focus moving forward. I can't speak good enough volumes about Impact Wrestling. If you haven't watched them yet, please go and at least give them a shot, especially on this upcoming week of Impact Wrestling, which is the fallout from Rebellion, and a lot of things took place on the show last night, so please do me a favor and check them out. And this is, again, last night. I am recording on Sunday evening, and the show took place on Saturday. No spoilers will be given, so if you want to go check them out, you still have time to do so. And honestly, that's it for the show this week. I hope you guys like this more condensed version. Tell me what you think about it down in the comments while you're there. Let me know if you agree with me that Impact Wrestling was the best show, or if not, who did have the best show this week. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you like this video, and then after you do the sharing and commenting, make sure your bell notification is on so that you're notified anytime a new video is uploaded to the channel. As always, I'm Travis Fowler Harkrider, and I'm going to see you again next week.